drives her court and wants too much money to do this. Art shouldn't be judged. It's art. There is no such thing as judging art. Hey!
Real quick, my name's Megan Silver. I've been running the Troma booth with Marcus for about 15 years. Just started out as a Troma fan like everybody else and then got involved. To my left is the esteemed Dr. Chuck Tingle.
Thank you. It is so good to be here and to prove love. That love is real for everyone in the dang room.
Yeah. Pro wrestler Simon Grimm.
Also, which is slightly more important to this, I'm Marcus's younger brother.
Patricia Kaufman. She's a retired New York State film commissioner, two-time grandmother, some Kaufman clan, and last but definitely least is the man that makes it not possible. To the very left is Lloyd Kaufman, president.
Thank you. There's an entrepreneur here who's changing the face of film equipment. If you've heard of kitsplit.com, it's an Airbnb for equipment, and we're members. Anyway, Elizabeth Kaufman, right here in the room.
Those of you who are Troma fans have actually watched Elizabeth grow up because she has been in and out of Troma movies her entire life.
Amazing. I got to kill my own kids in Sergeant Kabukin and NYPD.
These gentlemen all represent following their own paths and being true to themselves and staying independent in a time when not everyone chooses a lifestyle of independence.
I was going to be a teacher or a social worker and make the world a better place, teach people with hooks for hands how to finger paint. Stuff like that. But suddenly I started drifting into my roommate's film society. He ran the Yale Film Society. So they had a stack of the Cinémathèque Française magazines. And in those days, in the 60s, it was written by journalists going to filmmakers, and they propounded the auteur theory of filmmaking. It should come from the heart and soul of the director. It's the director's event. It shouldn't be a product of a team or a bunch of people. And I bought into that. And Michael Hers and I have been able to stagger along and create movies of the future. Hopefully give young people some interesting views on life and politics, and hopefully make a tiny little difference in the world, as well as its most important purpose, which is to entertain.
When you talk about it, it's the director's heart and it's the the vision of the film. You said it shouldn't be team decisions, but yet you are great working with a team.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Of course, that's very important, especially on a low budget.
Well, as an author, you sometimes you got to think, well, why am I doing this? This is with all artistic ways. You think, well, what am I trying to prove out in the world? And some people think, well, man, maybe I'm going to prove and make a bunch of dang money. And that is okay to think sometimes, and that is a good way, and then you can be a comfortable buckaroo. You don't need a big corporation to be you. So sometimes you think, oh, I want to be a chef, and everyone tastes your food, and they say, this is not very good. That is okay too. But then you can just be the chef that makes the food you like. And then when it's time, when no one's around and it's time to cook, you can think, well, I'm going to cook myself my special chocolate milk with fish sauce. And that is okay too. When you talk about all people that have been in Troma and gone on, and the alumni that you said, those are all buckaroos that say, this is what I like to do. This is my way. I'm going to make this my way. And then that's why this is a nice company, because they say, well, you can have your way, but this is our way, and that is okay.
I was a lifelong wrestling fan. Myself and my brother actually kind of bonded over it when we were kids. We used to watch WWF Saturday, Sunday shows on USA Network. And I just graduated high school. He and I did a road trip down to LA to see ECW's Heatwave 2000 pay-per-view. And I saw a wrestling maneuver I'd never seen before that, in retrospect, is lame as shit. But I saw that, and I saw the reaction people had to it, and I just looked around, and I said, I want to be a wrestler. This is what I want to do with the rest of my life. And about a year later, I started training at a facility in California, and I spent about 12 years on the independent circuit, just sort of trying to make a name for myself, getting somewhere and getting nowhere. Did an extra talent spot for WWE. I wound up getting a tryout that got me a contract where I was employed for 4 years. and it was the 4 most miserable years of my life. I was having to create art that I had no faith in, that I thought was terrible, that I knew going in was going to be bad. Fortunately for me, they fired me about 24 hours later, so I didn't have to quit. I rediscovered my actual love for the art form of professional wrestling, because much like filmmaking, much like writing, it's the idea of creating an emotional connection with an audience. It's about getting people to invest emotionally in what you're doing.
Everybody faces obstacles or opposition. How do you guys look beyond those naysayers?
I think that it is important to think that all the things that happen in your dang life, this can either be fuel or it can be something that slows you down.
To be independent, at least during my career, there's every form of humiliation, and it never ends. And you have to really just soldier on and believe in what you're doing. And 71 years went by very, very fast. Luckily, I have a very good first wife here, and
Trophy wife.
44 years.
In the fullness of time, however, they've now shown 2 of Lloyd's films at the Museum of Modern Art as part of major programs. I swear to God, I think they will eventually do something where they recognize you. I just hope we're both still breathing so we can sort of smirk and feel good about it when it happens.
So I'm in kind of a unique position in that I actually have a job where 50% of my job is being abused. This very drunk girl had heckled me multiple shows in a row, and my response to her finally was a nuclear bomb, in that I told her, "You're a fucking stupid cunt with AIDS, and you should stick to what you're good at, like sucking your father's dick for more drug money." That was an overly emotional and immature response on my part, because I should have looked at it as, well, I can either use her to get the audience more riled up, or I can be petty and make her feel bad about herself as a person. And I chose to do what all great artists do at least once, and be really petty.
Is there something you look toward as good news, or something for the future that does give you hope?
As long as we are all together doing what we can in our day to prove love, then I think that can be very powerful. So
The odd thing is that independent professional wrestling is actually at its probably one of its highest moments ever. There's a lot more attention on it thanks to the internet, thanks to people being able to actually see these matches from all around the world. When I started out in 2001, there was maybe 10, 12 people in the country or the world that actually did that. And now there are hundreds of people who are actually able to make a living doing it, which is the hardest thing. Because when you're an artist, being able to be independent, truly just pay your own way, is really difficult.
We went to Sundance about 20 years ago because Trey Parker and Matt Stone were obsessed with it, and they wanted to submit Cannibal the Musical. They never got a fuck you letter from Sundance. They never got a yes or no or anything. So we went to Sundance, and Trey and Matt rented a room there, some kind of conference room to show a one-movie film festival. And it was a huge hit, and Robert Redford was very upset, and it was great. And so it's now in its 18th or 19th year, Troma Dance, and it's totally free, and you can go to tromadance.com, and you can get more information should you wish to have your movie shown. And you want to support the James Gunns and Eli Roths and Chuck Tingles and Simon Grimms of the future, subscribe to Troma NOW at $4.99 a month, and you'll see world premiere movies by the next generation of great independent, shit-disturbing movies.
I feel really lucky that we got this group together today. So thank you guys all for coming.